And the next presentation is by Norman Moyo. And Norman is the CEO of Kumi. And the title of his presentation is Solving Africa's Issues Through IoT. Is Norman around? There he is. Please give Norman a round of applause as he takes to the stage. Thank you.
I think they're going to. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just waking up. Forgive me. When you're coming from an aircraft, you don't even know what time of the day it is, especially if you're coming from West Africa. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for listening to my presentation. I'm going to share with you briefly on Kumi. We're an IoT company, a Pan-African IoT player. Technology never works when people are watching, so I hope this time around it will work when people are watching. So our techie gurus are going to do a short video that should be able to highlight what we do at Kumi, and then I'll give you a brief summary of our story as Kumi from an IoT point of view. Thank you.
If your life was a movie, wouldn't it be great to direct your set how and when you like? With Kumi, now you can. You can control and monitor your home and family right from your smartphone. Check your business from anywhere. And get checked on and see a doctor wherever you are in the world. Kumi have created a seamless platform that brings control and monitoring of your health, home, and office right to your fingertips. Some call it the Internet of Things. At Kumi, we're just connecting life.
Kumi, connected life.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. You are very generous. That's probably the only marketing I'm allowed to do. Thereafter, I'm supposed to share some insights. So if you're able to bring the presentation. As we said, my name is Norman Moyo. I'm actually Zimbabwean. I like to consider myself Pan-African. So I've spent a lot of time in the continent. I've done telecoms since I was 29 or so. And I won't tell you how old I am now. And I've moved from Zimbabwe to Zambia, to Nigeria, to Tanzania, to Bahrain. So I've paid my school fees in Africa, and I've been involved both in the retail side of telecoms and in the tower side of the business. Now I'm involved in the cutting-edge IoT side of the business. So I wanted to share with you briefly about the impact of IoT from a Pan-African perspective. And the beauty of it is I won't have to explain what IoT is, because in most meetings I go into, I have to start by what is IoT. At least this is the only meeting I don't have to explain that, which does help a bit for people like myself. Now, does it work? Oh, it does work. So, I think you know some of these companies on the brands there, and I don't need to tell you, all of these are actually your typical IoT companies, or some like to call them big data companies. But today, Uber is your largest transportation company in the world. They don't own a single car. So is Airbnb, largest hotel group in the world. They don't own a single hotel. Exponentially, these businesses have grown from a mere $1 billion company when they started to a 20, some even $75 billion company within a very short space of time. That's what IoT is beginning to do for the rest of the world. Now, I wish I could ignore these companies and say they are very Eurocentric or American companies. They are not, because yesterday I was in Ghana. I did use an Uber there. If you're in Nairobi, you can use an Uber there. That means these phenomena have become real to our daily lives. Now, how do we as Africa start to take advantage of these exponential growths that's happening, or these exponential businesses or concept or technology to leapfrog the continent to where we need to get to? And I think that's the biggest challenge we have. Some of the new behaviors you see today, the world has changed so much. You'll find that crowdfunding, your biggest bank in Kenya, is not necessarily Barclays Bank or Standard Chartered Bank. It's actually Safaricom. Your biggest bank in Tanzania is Vodacom. I think if you go to Zimbabwe, my country, the biggest bank is EcoCash. So things are moving so swiftly. Crowdfunding has become the biggest way to raise money. Forget about bank officers, cash collection, deposit collection. The world is moving. So if you look at the whole ecosystem of what has been happening to technology, and particularly with the advent of mobile penetration, a lot has changed. So that is what has brought in this entity we call Kumi. And if you want to know what Kumi stands for, it actually comes from the Bible. Talita Kumi, girl child arise. My chairman happens to be a man of God. So he actually just directed us to that. I think it's Mark 5 or so. So we took the name and we tried to make it sexy. So that's how we ended up with the word Kumi International. 4 verticals that we are looking at right now: connected home, connected car, connected health, connected business. Now, I'm still working on the connected husband part, but bear with me. I'm getting close, actually, yeah, because I got a lot of women that have been pushing for that, especially when they go on business trip. They want to make sure that they know where the husband is, and if it's a connected home, they want to make sure that they understand who is sitting on what chair, who is sleeping in what bed, and technology can actually do that. IoT can do that. All we need is to put a few sensors in, madam, you'll have peace of mind. Yeah. Now, the ecosystem is a lot more broad, it's sophisticated, it is so huge that according to McKinsey, it is a $12 trillion business by 2020. This is what McKinsey estimates the impact of IoT is globally. Now, I also talk about IoT from, if you are in America, IoT means the following to the mother of the house. You put milk in your fridge, and then as you drive past the Spar, your fridge will tell you your milk is getting bad. You need to buy another gallon of milk. You can do that with your IoT, and that's a refrigerator, which is a smart fridge. Now, I said, but for Africa, maybe it's a bit of an overkill. Why don't I can always open the fridge, smell the milk, and throw it out. I actually don't need my technology to be telling me that. But do I need my technology to solve the crisis on the roads, the congestion on the roads? Possibly, yes. Do I need my technology to solve the chronic issues of power in Africa? Definitely, yes. What about health? Definitely, yes. So there are a number of things that are very relevant to the continent. And as Kumi, what we're trying to do actually is to take all these nice technologies and build an ecosystem around it that can speak to the needs of Africa on a day-to-day basis. So I said, if I was the president of Africa, which one day I will, I don't know who will vote for me, but if I was the president for Africa, there are 3 things I would try to fix in this continent: power, health, and unfortunately telecom. But telecom is fixed, thanks to most of you guys sitting in here today. But certainly power is not fixed. Health is not fixed. Let's not talk about the 4th one. It's called leadership. But then for that one, you buy my book, Rumble in the Jungle. Then you can talk about the 4th issue of leadership. But from a business point of view, the first 3 needs to be resolved if you want to leapfrog this continent. And here are some of the problems that you see there that IoT is now able to give us: connected roads, connected cars, connected grids, connected homes, cities, goods, and even just the video surveillance across the entire city. These are some of the possibilities that can happen today. Now, I'll also get to your connected home, because I think you guys have been sharing a little bit about that, but I try to practicalize it because I'm not a techie guy. I'm just a marketer. We're just an IoT marketing company. We take the technology, we take the ecosystem, we take the clouds, and we market it. As you know, Kumi is actually part of a conglomerate called Econet Group, if you know Econet Group. And within Econet, we also have got a big brother called Liquid Telecom, who just recently acquired Neotel in the country. And, oh, by the way, we also have got a new business called Kwese, which is a Pan-African media company that is now here to compete with Big Brother DSTV multi-choice. So, of course, for all of you here from Zambia, Ghana, South Africa, if you pass through our stand there, sign up, I'll probably give you a decoder for free and 2 months free, just because you have to listen to a short man. And it's a struggle, you know. You know what SMS means, right? Short messaging services, right? It means short man syndrome. There's nothing more beautiful for a short man than to be standing right on top of all of you like this. It feels beautiful. So thank you for sitting down. So that's a typical ecosystem for a Kumi. Now, I look at it from a user point of view. I look at it from vertical. We call them verticals, like home is a vertical. I look at it from a big data platform. So we have to build a big data. And then you've got to break it down into different vendors, different suppliers, different service providers to build the whole ecosystem together. So one of the enablers that has made IoT very interesting in Africa is that picture. And I think some of you have seen that picture. If you haven't seen it, please get a copy of that picture. That picture is the future of telecoms. That picture tells you the amount of infrastructure that has been built into the continent through a submarine fiber investments. I think a minimum $750 million has been poured into the industry in the past 6 years through the creation of the EZs, the ECCOM, you name them. All the major fiber players have brought in capacity into Africa, which actually used to be a dark continent, and it was correct to be called dark. But it was only dark from a point of view that there was not enough lit fiber in the continent. What has also happened to that picture is companies like Liquid have further gone in and they've built in terrestrial networks. Now, terrestrial network is basically fiber within connecting countries and cities. Beyond that, some boys have come in and they've started, like Vumatel, they've started to build in what we call metro rings. So all of a sudden, FTTH has become a reality. Your home can now be connected. Your school can now be connected. Clinics can be connected. That is creating a very fertile ground to build a solid IoT business, solid connectivity across, and being able to actually push most of these sensor technologies, push most of this traffic through the system. What are we focusing on as Kumi? Automotive sector. I know you know about connected car. We're focusing on connected homes. I can give you a classic connected home. So I go into Madam's house. We're going to put sensors on top of the roof. That's what we do today in Africa. We put sensors in the house. We put cameras in all the public areas. Of course, nothing in the bedroom, but we put cameras in all the public areas. And then we put in energy monitoring devices on each and every electrical appliance in that house, including the air conditioner and the plugs. And if you've got a pump, a water heater, we also put in a clamper there. And we pull all that onto your mobile phone. So while you are here, you can actually take a break outside and you actually be able to start switching on things in your home on your mobile phone. But you can also put rules that says, I do not want, my lights should go off the moment I leave the house, which is very logical, of course. I do not want my aircon to run when I'm not in the house. Okay, makes perfect sense, right? When you do that to your home, you make it a smart home, right? Once you finish that, a month later, you should be able to drop your bill by almost 25 to 30%. Yeah, talk of Modupe problems with power. Generation is a problem. We can change our consumption habits and actually help the whole of the country. If you're in South Africa here, you might put Modupe a few more years away if you manage to actually connect 1 million homes or 1 million businesses here. And we actually start consuming our energy in a very smart way. Now, for a continent that's struggling to generate power, that could be good music to your policymakers. So that's your smart home. And this is when the woman started asking me, can you do something for my bed? And I said, work in progress. So we are working on it. The business can also be connected. Now, one of the things that we're doing on the business, beyond just connecting the office itself and just automating the office, we are also looking at how do we connect things like generators. So we've got a solution right now to connect all your generators in your offices and in your branches and in your warehouses so that you are able to reduce fuel pilferage, you're able to reduce the maintenance cost and the like. There is 60 million generators in Nigeria today. If you go to the other side, there's another 60 million in the rest of Africa. So you've got 120 million generators. Just imagine there's a little bit of theft that goes on around, just 10 liters every month or so. Do your maths, 10 liters times 120 million generators times the price of diesel per liter. Then you can see it's a multi-million-dollar syndicate, or we call it a mafia, that is running away with your fuel every day. Now, the more generators you have, the more theft it is. So I know it because I worked for a towerco. I had 4,000 generators. My guys, some people were walking away with $500,000 a month on fuel until I put in actually a remote monitoring system, and then they stopped. That's how we found out that they were taking out a lot of fuel from the generators. So we believe IoT is now allowing us to be able to connect these generators. So you literally can obviously connect most of the assets in your offices. Healthcare is another interesting one that I would like to get to, but this is a typical home. Before I get to health, this is your typical home. So you all know this now. You can literally connect everything in your home, and we have got now the technology that we are rolling out across Africa to connect these homes. Here is your typical car. I think what is most amazing and worth news with is when we went to Tanzania with this proposition, the government had 2,000 deaths in a space of 6 months. So you can imagine the minister was under a lot of pressure, and so were the permanent secretaries. How do we stop these accidents? And these accidents were coming from buses and these big trucks. And when we shared with them the connected device, the tracking system that basically measures driver behavior, speeding, it also put what we call geofencing. You all know the story. It puts a geofencing around the vehicle. When we finished that, the government actually said they would like every public vehicle in Tanzania to be connected to our device. Oh, no, they didn't say to our device. They said to a device. So being a government, they wanted it to be done in a tender format. 2 years later, we're still waiting for the tender because some guy has to come up with another Kumi so we can compete with that guy. So we're still waiting. But you could see the impact that this will cause from a reduction in accidents. They estimate 80% of accidents disappear once you actually have the vehicle connected. Now, I mentioned a little bit about fuel, but I'll go a little bit deeper onto the health. There is 20% of South Africans and 20% of Africans today suffer from blood pressure and diabetes, right? That's a fact. Less than 1% are being monitored today from those two chronic diseases. We've got a device now that we've secured as part of our IoT platform ecosystem that monitors blood pressure and diabetes. So let's assume you are a blood pressure candidate. We will give you the device for free. You take it home. When you get home, you take a measurement. When you take a measurement, it sends a reading to your mobile phone. It also sends a reading to your next of kin, hopefully the one that's causing the blood pressure. That will help. It sends a reading to the next of kin, but we automatically connect you to your medical doctor. So your medical doctor is able to see in real time what's going on with your blood pressure. He doesn't actually have to do anything about it as long as everything is okay. But if it starts going south, he will do the needful. Call you in and be able to talk to you. Are you taking your medication? What is wrong? If it continues after a certain cycles, and then he immediately actually does the necessary intervention in terms of bringing you on board. So that's the ecosystem we've built around doctors. We've also built an ecosystem with what we call, if you go outside there, you'll also be able to see a hospital-grade type of device that actually does ECG, heart monitoring. It's in a small briefcase. In fact, when I presented to the City of Joburg, they said, Norman, you've just eliminated 5 buildings worth of equipment with that small little device. We are now able to do an ECG for everyone in the rest of Africa for probably $1, thanks to the technology and thanks to IoT. So those are some of the benefits. That's some of the measurements that the all-in-one unit device. As you can see, the device is very small. It can actually do ECG. I don't know how many people in Africa have ever done an ECG. It's very expensive for an ordinary man. So we're able to do that now. Now, here's our footprint in the continent. We are very Pan-African. We work primarily with mobile network operators across Africa because they are very good with the B2C side of, and they already have got customers. So we work with MNOs across Africa. That's why we are able to move and accelerate very quickly. So if you go into Tanzania, you will find Vodacom Connected Car. If you go into Zambia, you'll probably find Madison Connected Health. Madison is a major, like your Discovery, in Zambia. So they're the ones who push this to their customers. And naturally, insurance companies are also very interested in us. In East Africa, 40% of claims are fraudulent, of car claims are fraudulent. So when we introduced the idea, they loved it, because for once, they can probably stop paying fraudulent claims. Here are some of the partners that we work with across the continent, and I think that's it for me. Thank you.